Hello everybody, Captain Marty here, and we are going to paint a fishing picture for you today. What's going on? Had pretty good fishing yesterday, and I'll be right back to tell you everything you're going to need to know for the weekend.
Hi, I'm Captain Jay Cudworth of the Kokomo with Paradise Dolphin Cruises at Safe Harbor Marina in Wanchese. I want to invite you to take a ride out on the Roanoke Sound to see the majestic bottlenose dolphins up close. As a native, I'll be telling you stories from these waters as a boy growing up in Wanchese. Nature and history have combined to make this area unique, and I love sharing this special place with special people. So come on aboard with me and my crew and experience the real beauty of the Outer Banks. For more information, go online to ParadiseDolphinCruises.com. Again, this is Captain Jay. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Locally owned and operated since 1971, Billy's Seafood has been providing the locals and visitors of the Outer Banks with some of the freshest seafood you'll find. Not too far off the beaten path down Collington Road in KDH, Billy's Seafood has become a landmark for those seeking top-notch seafood at affordable prices. Billy's Seafood also has beer, wine, grandma's tuna salad, and other groceries as well. To see more, go online to billyseafoodobx.com. Billy's Seafood, putting fresh seafood on your table for over 50 years.
So, offshore fishing was pretty good yesterday, last 2 days actually. Let's start with Hatteras. I talked to my old friend Jessie on the Carolina Girl yesterday, and she was telling me, the day before we talked about her 8 wahoos. And yesterday, she had a ton of wahoo bites. She found a mark on her fathometer. She stayed on that mark for like 4 hours, and she worked really hard, got plenty of bites, but they were just having trouble hanging on to them. They kept pulling the hook, pulling the hook, pulling the hook. That happens sometimes, but they did catch a few wahoo, and she reported that there was also some pretty good dolphin fishing for folks down there. The mahi, dolphin, whatever you want to call them, very consistent, mostly smaller fish, but you put all that stuff together and you make a day's work out of it. A few blackfin tunas in the catches, although that seemed to have tapered off from what it was. And she was not aware of any billfish that were caught in Hatteras. So, but they made a good day of it. That's 2 days in a row, and we'll see what the weekend brings. As for Oregon Inlet, the yellowfin tuna fishing was not as good yesterday as it was on Wednesday. There were still some caught. The blackfin tuna fishing did kind of pick back up a little bit, and there was good mahi fishing. Almost everybody had a limit, which is 60 some fish of the dolphin, the Baylor dolphin. So that was good, and they had a pretty good white marlin bite. Several boats with multiple flags in the riggers. So nobody's complaining about that catch. Closer to the beach, for them, for the Hatteras fleet, there's been a few king mackerel in some catches, Spanish mackerel and king mackerel actually. And then for the Oregon Inlet fleet, yesterday it was primarily ribbon fish. Both fleets have occasionally bumped into schools of big drum that have come outside the inlet, but I didn't get much of a report on that in the ocean. But more about that when we get to our backcountry report in just a few minutes. As far as surf and pier fishing goes, we're still talking about the ocean. The big drum bite is on, it's consistent, and there's a lot of fish in the 40 to 44 inch size range on the end of the piers. It's a dusk bite, but the calmer the ocean gets, the slower that bite gets. It's the one fishery that really does love it rough. So the drum bite is on. There's a few down in Cape Point. There's some scattered drum up and down the beach as well. There's in the surf, there's a little bit higher percentage of the smaller drum, maybe the slot size puppy drum. And they're also catching sea mullet, spots, croakers, and some of these bluefish. It's been a better year for bluefish off the pier, off the surf, and in the backcountry than we've had in a while. And we're seeing more and more. They're not the old school big bluefish, the 17 pounders I remember, but there's a lot of 8 to 12 pounders. So we're happy about all that. We're going to take a little break right here, and then I'll be back to talk to you about the backcountry and what's biting in the sound.
When it comes to general maintenance or major modifications on your diesel vehicle, look no further than Wanchese Off-Road Diesel Performance in Kill Devil Hills. Master mechanic Ryan Walker developed the plan for having his own auto shop over 20 years ago, and today he owns the premium diesel performance powerhouse of the Outer Banks. To have him and his crew take a look under your hood, give him a call today at 252-715-0025 or find them on social media. Wanchese Off-Road Diesel Performance, the diesel performance powerhouse of the Outer Banks.
All right, back in the sound. The drum bite also is still on, but I did find this little tidbit out. Some of the backcountry guides in Hatteras, back of Hatteras, fishing out of Hatteras Village, in other words, did really good on some nice class of speckled trout yesterday. That's encouraging because I've been telling you that the trout are going to get bigger as we get into the fall. You know, they have a few drum. Now back there, the drums seem to be yearling or smaller, but they're not all of them, but most of them. And they're also catching some good numbers of bluefish down there as well. Further up the sound, up closer to Roanoke Island, and that way, back of the inlet, there's been some drum. There's been some drum over on the western Pamlico, and there's some drum in between on the shoals, like Long Shoal, for instance, is producing some fish. And we're also seeing a little more activity on the bridges, the folks that love to fish off the bank. Not great. You're going to have to put in your time, but they're catching a few speckled trout now and a few puppy drum. So that's pretty much what's going on with all of our fishing. We didn't talk about some related things like the shrimp, and the shrimping is very good. And now I understand they seem like they're changing over to the green tails. You know what, though? To me, it makes no difference. Some of my friends that are lifetime shrimpers, some of them say that you could not tell the difference if you were blindfolded between a brown shrimp and a green shrimp. I'm not going to take a stand on that issue because I still remember all those years of all fish taste the same and the conflict that got me in back in my radio days. So we'll just leave that one. My point would be, if they're both really, really good eating and they're both shrimp and they're plentiful and at a great price, go get some. And the way you go get them now, you can get them at any local retail fish market. If you buy them in a grocery store, you may not be getting our local shrimp. Probably will not be getting our local shrimp. So, as we've been saying, because this is the time of year and it won't last forever, go to places like Insane Seafood in Stumpy Point. They also have a location in Columbia as well. Or you could go see Matt and Micah Huth at Fresh Catch Seafood down in Wanchese. There are other places down on Hatteras Island, but go to a fish house and make sure you buy this week's shrimp. And by the way, today is a good day to buy shrimp because a lot of those boats have been out there for several days, and the shrimp will be more plentiful and maybe just a little bit better price at the end of the week than they are in the beginning. And buy your shrimp with the heads on and head them yourself, unless you just want to pay. You pay a little more for heads off shrimp. It's nothing to head and shrimp. You can pinch them off, use a pair of scissors, a pair of pruners, whatever you got handy, and freeze them up. They'll be happy to tell you at the fish house how to preserve. A 50-pound box of heads on shrimp tallies out at 30 pounds of heads off. And so you freeze them up in 5-pound blocks is what I do. And you'll have shrimp all winter long. So that's what I have for you. Good weekend coming forward. And let's go out there and let's just hope we get a little bit more of a white marlin bite offshore is what I'm really hoping for. And let's hope that drum bite keeps right on going. We will be having, we're coming up on the Youth Day for the whitetail deer season, which will be a week from tomorrow, which was also the opening of the muzzleloading season, my favorite time of the year to hunt. So lots to look forward to this time of year. Have a great day. Be careful on the water. You know what? If you don't go fishing, you can't catch them in the motel room.